Ranga's Marriage, written by Musti Venkatasha Iyengar. Let's see the summary of the story. The story begins in rambling fashion, with the narrator first speaking about the title of the story itself and then going on to describe the village, Hoshahalli, in which the story is set. The village does not appear on any map, the narrator claims, because the British don't mention it, and blindly following them, neither does any other geographer or cartographer. However, the narrator claims that the village is an important place in the state of Mysore. The narrator then rambles on about the sourness of the mangoes in his village and the leaves of a creeper in the village pond that are big enough to serve as plates. The narrator then begins his tale, which takes place at a time when few people spoke English. He is disdainful of youngsters who use English words while speaking Kannada. Ranga, the accountant's son, was the first person to study outside the village. When he returned, the villagers flocked to his house to meet him. Once they were satisfied that Ranga had not changed, they gradually departed, leaving behind only the narrator. Ranga touched the narrator's feet, and the narrator, noting his traditional manners, blessed him and wished him an early marriage. Later in the afternoon, Ranga came to meet the narrator with a gift of oranges. When the narrator asked Ranga about his plans to get married, Ranga declared that he would not marry till he had found the right girl. He cited the example of an officer who had done so. Ranga further said that getting married to a very young girl would not be ideal. He declared his intention to only marry a mature girl, a girl whom he could admire. The narrator was distressed upon hearing this, since he believed that Ranga would make a good husband. He decided to get Ranga married. The narrator considered Ratna, an orphaned 11-year-old girl living with her uncle Ramarao, as a suitable bride for Ranga. He went to Ramarao's house and asked that Ratna be sent to his house to collect buttermilk. Ratna came wearing a bright sari and, upon the narrator's request, sang a song. The narrator sent for Ranga, who arrived as the girl was singing. Ranga was fascinated by her melodious voice. However, on spotting a stranger, Ratna was overcome by shyness and rushed inside. Ranga was curious about the girl, and the narrator, trying to heighten Ranga's interest, claimed that the girl was married. Ranga could not conceal his disappointment at this. The next morning, the narrator visited the village astrologer and tutored him to play part in the plan. In the afternoon, the narrator took Ranga, who was still disappointed, to the astrologer. Here, the narrator, who finally reveals his name, Shama, and the astrologer very cleverly led Ranga into believing that Ratna was the wife destined for him. As the narrator and Ranga left the astrologer's house and headed back, they passed Ramarao's house. The narrator went in alone and returned to reveal to Ranga that Ratna was unmarried. Ranga then confessed that he had been thinking about Ratna. That evening, the narrator praised the astrologer for following his instructions and sarcastically remarked how great astrology was. The astrologer retorted that whatever he had foretold was the result of his calculations based on the hints supplied by the narrator. The story then jumps forward a few years and the narrator reveals that Ranga and Ratna are married. They have a 3-year-old son whom they have named Sham after the narrator, who is now a very dear friend.